So I guess the elephant in the room is that Becky Lynch isn't on the card, Jordan.
Who? She's suspended for 60 days, Robert.
Oh.
She won't be here.
But she apologized.
You're right. What a nice little lass.
What a nice little kiss lass.
She would appreciate that.
I saw somebody say on Twitter, she's going to kick Vince McMahon's ass. And it's everything within me told me to tweet it, but I didn't. I was just going to reply arse with an asterisk.
I mean, what's there to even say at this point? We've made it perfectly clear. Becky Lynch's fan base is toxic.
Yeah, but we haven't said that here.
Well,
we didn't even get close to saying that here.
We've said it on Twitter.
Yeah, but no, this is different. Becky Lynch is great. I think that the man shtick is losing some juice because she won a title and then lost it immediately. And then lost her first opportunity at that title by tapping out, which is the humblest of ways to lose a match. Not being able to kick out is one thing, but being forced to say, I can't handle it anymore, and giving up is another. And then she said sorry on Raw. But that's only because months before she hugged her best friend after telling everybody that she hated that woman for weeks and weeks and weeks. She hugged her and, gave her a vote of confidence. So, characters all over the place. Okay? And yeah, she's great, but she's done nothing to revolutionize women's wrestling. She's barely in matches because she's always either legitimately injured or kayfabe injured.
And now she's suspended for 60 days. And now she's
quote-unquote suspended for 60 days, even though she's going to be on Raw and SmackDown every week until WrestleMania. But
she wasn't on SmackDown last night.
Will she touch up with somebody? Will she actually have a match before WrestleMania? Like one? Do you think?
Yeah.
But who?
I saw people floating around on Twitter saying oh, we'll get Charlotte versus Becky at Fastlane and the winner faces Ronda Rousey.
Nope, not happening. Not happening.
Well, they've got to extend this storyline. Becky's going to show up at Elimination Chamber.
Oh yeah, she's going to be parking a car that's not hers and
she's
walking
gonna
around.
Fight Charlotte in the crowd.
Yeah, whatever. Probably during the Ronda Rousey Ruby Riott match.
Yes.
And it's going to be some sort of distraction, but Ronda's going to be too smart for it and still pick up the victory.
Yes.
Ruby's going to try to roll her up off the ropes, and Ronda's going to turn it into an arm bar and make her tap.
Yes.
And then Ronda's going to call her some sort of name, and everybody's going to go, I can't believe Ronda delivered it like that. She's such an amateur. What an idiot. But if Becky said the same thing, they would have creamed their pants. Ice and Advil, bitch, was a fantastic line. Fantastic line.
Absolutely.
And if Becky delivered that line, you would have demanded WWE put it on a T-shirt. But Ronda put it on a T-shirt because she's the one that said it, and she got mocked for it. So I don't like where this has gone. I don't like where this whole thing has gone. I think calling her the man, far be it from the gender aspect of it, which everybody harps on, whether you like it or you don't like it. That's all you ever see is people tweeting about how she's the man because it's an idea and it's a figurative. You don't need to explain that to smart people. You don't. The only people that don't get it are fucking basement dwelling assholes. Okay? We get it. We get the idea of calling yourself the man. We get it. I just don't think that her character has done anything in the 6 or 7 months that she's been hot, quote unquote, to warrant that at all. At all.
Well, that's why Charlotte said in her promo last night.
Charlotte's promo couldn't have been more legitimately accurate. Word for word.
Exactly.
Every single word of that promo was the God's honest truth.
Becky hasn't done a single thing to warrant the idea that she has changed wrestling forever, because she hasn't. And I want someone to look me in the face and tell me what she's done. I'll wait.
Other than call herself the man, nothing.
She got punched in the face. And
that dude, the punch to the face thing kills me when you trying to even verbalize how aggravating this shit is super difficult.
Well, just when I was texting you about it the other day, when I was like, she got punched in the face, and everyone was like, well, she kept going. And then my response to that is Triple H tore his quad and kept going. And nobody said he revolutionized the business.
Right. Triple H tore his quad and kept going in a match and got to the finish that they needed in that match. Okay? She was in a segment that was not a match, got punched in the face, and continued a sloppy beatdown segment on a run-in. Okay? It wasn't... What? Because she went up to the crowd and opened her arms up?
With blood on her face.
With blood on her face. That was her Stone Cold moment. That was her Stone Cold... Does anybody remember watching Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yeah, apparently not.
He was up against the excellence of execution. Okay? He was in that match with Bret Hart, and he got busted open. Okay? In that match. And then Bret put him in the sharpshooter, which was the end-all, be-all of submission moves at the time. It was the figure four and the sharpshooter, and that was it. Okay? The torture rack to a lesser degree, but I'm talking about leg moves specifically. Okay? Oh, my God. And Bret had him in that. How long did he hold him in that move? It seemed like hours. That's how long it was. Right? It was absurd how long he was held in that.
Yeah.
And he
it wasn't the first time he was in the move that night either.
Exactly, because they used to register and sell, but they don't do that anymore. And Stone Cold Steve Austin was great at selling, and Bret put him in the sharpshooter again and held Stone Cold in it, and Stone Cold, just go watch the match. Have you not seen that match? It's like one of the greatest matches of all time. And you're going to say that Becky's done anything? And what's your favorite Becky Lynch match, Jordan? From a
probably
SmackDown,
probably one involving Charlotte Flair.
Oh, really? You mean Becky's not done anything on her own that didn't involve Charlotte Flair? Well, they keep putting Charlotte in it because they have to. That's why. That's why Charlotte's in the main event. That's why Charlotte's in every one of your favorite Becky moments. Go ahead. Tell me one of your favorite Becky Lynch matches is between her and Billie Kay on a friggin' a regular SmackDown. Okay? She's had...
And that's not a knock at Billie Kay.
No, it's not. But
and it's not really a knock at
Becky either.
Lynch.
You're talking about she's revolutionized the business. Revolutionized. Because she's a smartass on Twitter? She figured it out.
She even tweeted out that she's had less pay-per-view matches than Ronda Rousey.
How, Jordan, what was Ronda Rousey's first match? in WWE?
WrestleMania.
Oh, last year's
versus-
WrestleMania. And in that time, less than a year, technically speaking, less than 1 year, Ronda Rousey's had more pay-per-view matches for championships, correct? Singles matches?
No, just singles matches.
Singles
just
matches. She's had
just
more
pay-per-view matches.
She's had more pay-per-view matches in a year than Becky Lynch has had since she got called up to the main roster. Let's rewind the clocks back a year. Becky was in the
Pre-show
she was in the first ever women's battle royal
at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania on the pre-show
For the Diva Cup.
And remember, she won? Oh, wait. She didn't. She didn't even win the Diva Cup. Naomi won the Diva Cup. And then she did nothing in May. She did nothing in June. She won her first match of this spark in July of 2018. Okay? That sent her on this historic run. History has been made, everybody. She won a match on SmackDown. Something that Randy Orton did last night in 6 seconds. And then she was on a winning streak, and the crowd was getting behind her, and it seemed like things were turning around for Becky Lynch. Finally, we're noticing Becky Lynch. Oh, she's doing pretty good. And then what does she do at SummerSlam?
She slaps Charlotte in the face after losing.
And what'd she do at Hell in a Cell?
She beat Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
So Hell in a Cell was September?
Yes. Tail end of September.
She won the Women's Championship in September. That's the 9th month of the year, by the way. Okay. So, and what'd she do at Evolution?
She probably had one of the best matches of the year against Charlotte Flair.
Right, because Charlotte was in it.
So that was her first title defense. So she had one defense.
And she won.
She won.
In a great effort.
Yeah.
That I think maybe, it was a good match.
It was worthy.
It wasn't a bad match.
It was worthy of, okay, well, this is a good start.
Right. But would that match be on Charlotte's DVD?
Probably.
You would say that's one of Charlotte's better matches?
Sure.
Okay. So fair enough. So to this point, okay, we're all the way into October. We've got one good match.
Yes.
Because the Hell in a Cell match wasn't in the Hell in a Cell, was it?
No, she won with a roll-up.
So we've got one good match in the 10th month of 2018. And that's when, well, I guess you could say September is when all this stuff starts happening, right? But then we get the build up to Survivor Series, and Crown Jewel happened, and then Nia Jax punches her in the face and breaks her face. And here's where my issues began, okay? Because you've got her. Up to that point, it was supposed to be her versus Ronda at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to see that match. It was going to be a good match. I said then, I don't want to see them have this match because it's going to ruin everything. Thankfully, they didn't have that match. But I mean, they probably should have just had it then. Huh?
Who had it?
Oh, Charlotte.
Why?
Because Becky handpicked her to replace her.
Yeah, and didn't they hug?
They hugged in the center of the ring after 2.5 months, almost 3 months of build for them hating each other, calling each other bitches, ruining each other's family. You had come up with a great idea to get Becky over where she tries to injure Ric Flair. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And none of that happened.
No, instead,
but she got rocked in the face
and couldn't compete. And instead of keeping her off television, they decided to bring her on television, have her cut a promo, and then choose Charlotte to fight Ronda. Because we had discussed in our last episode, too, that we a different workaround for that scenario.
There were plenty of workarounds for that scenario. And then, if you're going to give me this scenario now where Vince McMahon has chosen to put Charlotte in that match at WrestleMania, why couldn't that be done then?
Yeah.
Why did it have to be Becky
or
choosing her
or even
replacement?
Paige?
Right.
Paige was the GM at the time.
Right. That doesn't... It's annoying.
So
it's absolutely annoying.
So she gets punched in the face.
The biggest thing that annoys me is that the Becky stans, because I won't even call them marks at this point because they're beyond that. The Becky stans don't see the legitimacy of Ronda Rousey for some reason and find her annoying and everything that she says is bad and Ronda's still technically a rookie, for God's sake. Where Becky's been in the WWE system for years and years and years. What bothers me is that they go, well, Ronda got kicked in the face by Holly Holm. And that's where you lose me. Because it's a UFC fight. It's a legitimate fight. Where both of them are punching each other in the face legitimately. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Not even a little bit.
Because how many punches to the face did Ronda take in that bout before she got kicked in the face and was knocked out? Legitimately. Where Becky got punched in the face one time. One time. By a non-professional fighter. Okay? It's Nia Jax. We're not talking about the champion of UFC. Okay? One punch to the face, and she couldn't compete for 3 weeks. And she was competing the week after Survivor Series. Do you really buy that it was that bad? Do you understand what I'm trying to get to?
No, absolutely.
It boggles my mind that somehow Becky's still a badass for getting punched in the face in finishing the segment, but Ronda was locked in a cage with a woman that was sanctioned to beat the holy hell out of her and then did it. But somehow Ronda's the loser for being knocked out, but Becky's a champion for getting punched in the face. Like it's absolutely absurd. It's absurd. Mm-hmm. It's absurd to me. Absolutely absurd. Batshit crazy.
But people keep bringing it up because they keep pitting Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. And so now they added Charlotte to the match at WrestleMania so that Charlotte could be the true heel. So that this way they'll still cheer Ronda, they'll still cheer Becky, and now they have someone to boo.
And I said that in November. Mm-hmm. If you put Becky against Ronda, they're going to choose Becky because that's who they want. It doesn't matter that Ronda's got all that goodwill and that she's supposed to be the face. Because it didn't matter that Charlotte was supposed to be the face in October. Remember?
Yeah.
It didn't matter. They were trying to make Becky heel in the worst way, But what I don't think the Becky stans realize is that the company, quote unquote, is actually 100% behind Becky.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at them. Look at all they're doing. She's in segments with Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Stephanie now.
Right. What I mean is they think that they're trying to take this away from Becky. Did you see Twitter Tuesday morning? It was an absolute disaster.
People started a hashtag saying remove Charlotte.
What a dumpster fire Twitter was Tuesday morning. Charlotte's only in that match to protect Ronda and Becky. Only in that match to protect the two of them. Because she's taking the fall.
Absolutely.
Period.
And like you had related it on Twitter to WrestleMania 30.
Yes. And the parallel there, like the Stone Cold parallel is over. I know I was saying that months and months and months ago. They did not go that way creatively. Even though they seem like they want to do that, that's not what they're doing here. This is 100% Daniel Bryan in 2013, 2014, right? That was the year?
Yeah.
2013 SummerSlam to 2014 WrestleMania. WrestleMania 30. Yeselmania, if you will. The company brought Batista back at the Royal Rumble and ruined the surprise by announcing it, remember? It was really stupid.
Yeah. Well, he came back like
a week or two before that to hype it up.
Yeah.
And the crowd booed him mercilessly. They didn't want him there because anybody that wasn't Daniel Bryan was getting booed. It didn't matter. And then if you remember that Royal Rumble specifically,
Big Show came out as number 30 and everyone booed.
Big Show came out as number 30. Daniel Bryan wasn't even in that Rumble. They completely turned on the show. Which is what they would have done this year had Becky not stolen Lana's spot.
Dude, could you imagine if she tapped out and then wasn't on the rest of the show?
That's what I'm saying. They would have had a complete and utter repeat of Royal Rumble 2014. 100% would have been the same thing. It didn't matter who won. They would have been pissed off because Becky wasn't involved. And if she got thrown out like Daniel Bryan did the next year, right?
Yep.
The following year, Daniel Bryan he shows up at like number 15 or something like that and just gets tossed out by whoever.
Bray Wyatt.
And the crowd was ballistic because they thought, oh, fuck, we're getting Daniel Bryan. Oh, my God. Completely lost the crowd on that. So they had to put Becky in this Royal Rumble. I don't know that they had to make her win. I still like your idea better of the double finish to get both of them into the spot and have them fight about it for the entire time leading up to it.
Yeah.
But
so what I even thought about afterwards was, so they wanted to get all of this momentum behind Becky, right? So how about have Charlotte win the number one contender spot by beating Carmella instead of Becky? We have Charlotte versus Asuka 2 at the Royal Rumble. This way the fans, they know Becky's going to be in the Rumble. Becky's going to win the Rumble. She's going to go to WrestleMania. She's going to fight Ronda Rousey. She's going to win the belt, right? Lana comes hobbling out. Becky's been in the match for most of it. You know, she's holding her own. All of a sudden, here comes Charlotte. Here comes Charlotte down to the ring. Someone's letting Charlotte into the match, right? The crowd is booing. Becky and her have their moment in the ring where she's saying, like, this is my moment. You're not going to ruin it again, because it adds to the overall story of it. They have their thing. Becky dumps Charlotte out of the ring, and we have our victory here. And then you go on from that. But instead, you have Becky tap out in the opening match of the night. And then what did she do to deserve to walk into the match?
And why did Finlay put her in?
Exactly. Like, we know who Finlay is.
What authority does Finlay have?
Exactly. Like, they didn't establish any of that. It's just,
like, it's not even like they gave a 5-minute thing in the back where he's like the producer of the Women's Royal Rumble, so you know that he could do that. That felt like, honest to God, that felt like such a WCW moment where it was just some guy in a suit that you haven't seen in 10 years, and he just goes, yeah, you do it.
Yeah.
Like,
but, and then another idea that I had was, okay, so that plays out that way, the way that it did. The next night on Raw, instead of having her, you know, deal with repercussions from the authority or whatever, have Vince come out and say, hey, who gave you the authority to come out into the Royal Rumble anyway? You're out, you know? You didn't actually win, so since you took Lana's spot, unofficially, Charlotte's the winner. Then you go, okay, well now there's a triple threat.
And then you give Lana versus Becky Lynch at SmackDown, which is what we're all clamoring for.
But but then they're doing this whole like injury angle with her.
Yeah,
why?
That's the issue. Is the company wants Becky to get this momentum, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they keep trying to pick where she gets it.
Yeah, they're throttling her momentum so that they could produce the reaction they want when they want.
But I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think that they've throttled it too many times, and I'm off the train. I don't care that Becky is going to win at WrestleMania this year, even though I know that it's an absolute certainty.
I agree.
I am not going to pop for it because I don't care. I don't care. They've done too much damage to this, in my opinion, and I don't think that Becky is naturally this type of badass person to keep this up, because there's constantly cracks in that armor. Every time she's cutting a promo, every time she's in the that's not her. Like, the best characters are extensions of the real person, right?
Yeah.
Like, the Triple H character is an extension of that man, in that he is kind of a badass, he is kind of a metalhead, he does ride a motorcycle, like all of that stuff. You know what I mean? They just turn it up to 11. I don't think that this Becky Lynch is an extension of that woman. And I think there's a disconnect for me there. Everybody else could buy into it because they're all drinking the Kool-Aid in Jonesville or Jonesburg or whatever. That's fine. I don't see it anymore. I saw what they were going for, but I'm not buying right now. It doesn't matter to me.
It's taken way too long.
It's taken way too long.
And now
I'm fully invested in what I'm more invested in is how great a heel Charlotte can be with the corporate background on her.
Yes.
Way more interested in that.
Because look at her promo from Tuesday. It was awesome.
And I would, so if we were going to rank like top 10 in WWE right now, Charlotte's not only the best female performer in WWE, she's, for me, top 4 in the company.
Absolutely.
Everything she touches turns to gold. Every match that she's in is better because she's in it.
Yep. She brings the best out.
And
in
honestly,
her opponents.
I would only put maybe 3 women in the top 10, and none of them are named Becky Lynch.
Because
just from an in-ring / promo perspective.
I saw someone say on Twitter once that it doesn't matter what Becky's ability in the ring is, it's all about the character, and she's got the character and all this and that.
Oh, so is that person also a huge Carmella fan?
Crickets. Because their logic is so flawed.
It absolutely matters how good she is in the ring. And I'm not even saying that she's bad in the ring. I would probably, with her current push, put her in a top 15 scenario, but she wouldn't be upwards of 10. She'd be in that 15 to 11 area. And that's being nice about it, because of her support.
Her support is toxic.
Yeah, the blind Becky Lynch love is possibly one of the worst things to happen to WWE in the last 10 years.
It started off fine. It literally started off perfect. And
it was natural because we were all there. We all agreed.
Yeah.
None of us disagreed. We were all like, fuck yeah, Becky Lynch. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's put it on Becky Lynch. And then every decision has been the opposite of what I think is a positive decision since that point. And WWE's attempt to control when the momentum starts, when she gets it, who she gets it against, how she gets it, why she, like, they've tried to control every aspect of it. And when it gets slightly out of that grasp, they throttle it. They back off.
Yep. And it's not Becky's fault.
And that's feeding the issue here. Because every time they do that, it just reinvigorates all the people that like her on Twitter. And every time it reinvigorates the people that like it on Twitter, it falls out of their grasp, so they back off. And as soon as they back off, everybody dives on it. Like, it keeps feeding itself. The snake eating its tail on that situation.
And it'll only end at WrestleMania.
I mean, I hope so. I hope Becky winning that title is the only thing that they care about. It seems like. But if the story doesn't matter to them, which is what I feel like they've all pretty much admitted, it doesn't matter how. Just give her the title. Why wait to WrestleMania? Why does it matter that it's the WrestleMania main event? Right?
Yeah.
What does that matter? Just give it to her on SmackDown. Let her win the title. Who cares? They just want to see her with a belt. Just give it to her.
A belt and a t-shirt that says the man.
Oh.
Oh God.
But the women in WWE have had the most creative wise. And there's really not anything among the male performers, storyline-wise, that I even care about. What's the biggest male story? Seth? But that's not even a story.
Because Lesnar's never around.
So it's not even a story. So the women, almost by default, have the better storylines happening. But, like, the Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte thing is the biggest thing. And it's not even represented on Sunday at Elimination Chamber.
Well, it will be because...
And that's how you go full circle, Jordan.
It will be because Charlotte's going to be in the crowd. And she said that she was dedicating her WrestleMania victory to her best friend, Becky Lynch. So...
Oh, fuck. That's so evil. That's awesome.
So... I mean, I guess we'll just wait and see.
Do you have any doubt that it's going to be a triple threat match?
Oh, no. No.
It's absolutely going to be a triple threat match.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. I'm just making sure that I'm not alone in that, because I saw a poll. I think Bully Ray put it up. And it was, what main event do you want to see at WrestleMania? And it was Becky versus Ronda, Charlotte versus Ronda, or triple threat. And there were over 6,000 votes when I saw it, and it was like 53% wanted Becky versus Ronda one-on-one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why?
Over 6,000 votes. I couldn't believe it, dude.
The only way I'd be okay with that is if Ronda taps her out.
I just... To do another... Oh, and then let's just quickly dispel the rumor, or not the rumor, but the narrative, if you will, that a triple threat match at WrestleMania can't happen. Because that's bullshit. That's flat bullshit. They do it all the time. They try to get as many people on the card as possible, and nobody's ever complained about it before this moment. There have been some wonderful triple threat matches at WrestleMania over the years.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful. So, and when they first made the Raw Women's Championship at, what was that, at 32?
32.
In Texas, right?
Yeah.
That was a triple threat match.
And guess who was in it? Becky and Charlotte.
And Sasha.
and Sasha, but I'm just saying, like,
Right.
it's
Becky
not
and
like
Charlotte.
Becky and Charlotte haven't been in a triple threat match with one another before.
Right. And I think that having a triple threat match with Ronda makes the match interesting on Ronda's end because she hasn't had to deal with that yet.
Yeah.
She's had to do one-on-one matches, one-on-one matches, one-on-one matches. There's only so many ways that, and then there's the added layer of a triple threat match being no disqualification.
Yep.
They could break out tables. They could use chairs. They could obliterate each other. I don't think that they'll go that far. They might use the announce table, but I don't think they're going to go into a full-on hardcore match. But the option is there, so that levels the excitement even more. So, I don't know. I don't want to see anything other than a triple threat in the main event of WrestleMania. But I'm absolutely certain, and I said this probably 2 episodes ago, maybe, this is absolutely going to be the main event of this year's WrestleMania.
Without a doubt.
100%. I don't think there's anything that's even close to being good enough story-wise this far out. It's the only thing people are talking about. It's got to be the main event at WrestleMania. I don't care what you set up in the meantime. Nothing comes close.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be great because we're going to get Ruby Riott versus Charlotte Flair in the main event of WrestleMania.
Right, because she's winning on Sunday.
Yeah. And then we could get Becky versus Ronda Rousey. Done. Easy.
For no title.
For no title. Just.
Would that matter? Would that matter? Do they want to just see them fight?
Maybe. She could end her undefeated streak.
If it didn't have a title on the line, would they be as aggravated?
She could end her undefeated streak.
Right. But like if that was the creative and it had nothing to do with a title, would it matter to the people that are complaining right now?
That sounds like a poll for Twitter.
Would you still care if Becky versus Ronda was not for the championship? Is that the proper way to word that question?
Probably.
All right.
You can still get Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch one-on-one at WrestleMania, but it's not for the title. Yes or no? Like,
it just kills me because that punch to the face really ruined what could have been wonderful booking.
Yep. But even before that booking was ruined when they started to try to turn her heel.
No, I mean, so we would have got Ronda versus Becky at Survivor Series. And then nobody would care that it's actually Charlotte versus Ronda in the main event of WrestleMania by themselves.
Yeah.
And it would be done right, and Charlotte would still be a heel, but Ronda would be getting cheered, and all would be right with the world. But Nia Jax sucks so bad.
And yet you want to put the women's tag team championships on her.
Yeah, well, she's Samoan. And I owe The Rock a favor or something. So I'm going to make his cousin's champion.
All right. All right. Anything else with Elimination Chamber?
I think that's it. We can open the door of the chamber and let us out, please.
Go ahead and let us know what you think. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Royally Rumbled. Find us on YouTube, search Royally Rumbled Podcast. And we're available on the following platforms: iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Overcast, Podbean, SoundCloud, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts.
And if we're not on your favorite podcast platform, let us know and we'll get there for you. We've done it before.
So make sure you subscribe and leave us a review because that'd be real nice and that helps us out a lot. If you want to follow us individually, I'm Jordan, and I could be found on Twitter and Instagram at JL24FPS.
And I, Robert, can be found on Twitter and Instagram at Yesball.
Thank you for listening, everyone. So for Royally Rumbled, I'm Jordan.
I'm Robert.
And remember,
No guess is as good as ours.